Good evening. Right, 19th July 2024. And today I've got our usual evening update. And the reason why I give you guys this update is so that you end the day with proper knowledge and clarity of what is happening. So there's been a dramatic week in Zimbabwe, and the drama is to do with Sadak. Mnangagwa has failed to impress the Sadak inspection team. And there is a massive problem that is developing right now in Zimbabwe. There is what we call a massive drama in ZANU-PF. Panic and pandemonium has gripped Zimbabwe because Mnangagwa's projects are not finished and Sadak has done the inspection. Today was their last day of inspection and they failed to get assurance that the projects are complete. So as things currently stand, Zimbabwe has not managed to convince Sadak that they're able to host the Sadak summit. You will see that there's been no announcement by Sadak, and the Zimbabwe government is now starting to avoid the topic. They're now starting to talk about everything else. The biggest issue has been the failure to provide accommodation for the president. This is the biggest sticking issue in Zimbabwe. And this is why Sadak, the inspection team of Sadak, has left without concluding about Zimbabwe. So very soon there'll be an announcement on whether Zimbabwe will be able to host the president's summit or not. So the heads of state of Sadak are probably going to come in for a day and leave if Zimbabwe is supposed or is allowed to host the summit, or the summit is going to go to virtual, because currently there's no place for the presidents of Sadak to sleep. That is the biggest problem. The presidents of Sadak and their delegations have got nowhere to spend their time, to prepare, to sleep, or even to do their strategic planning or whatever they'll be doing that particular day, to set up their command centers. Zimbabwe has got the unfortunate situation of not having enough hotel space in Harare. And this thing that I'm saying here, don't take it lightly. This is a demonstration of the disaster that is there in Harare right now. You have got a country that has got, ever since 1980, so now we're in 2024, in 44 years, Zimbabwe has only had the same hotels that were there before. Nothing new has come up. There is no new hotel that has been built in Harare ever since independence. I want you guys to digest what I've told you here. Our country has been stagnant for over 44 years. It's not been moving. And the Sadak summit has brought the reality to everyone to see how dangerous the situation is in Zimbabwe. We've got a serious problem in Zimbabwe where Zimbabwe has been stagnant, where it came since independence. When ZANU-PF got into office, nothing new has been constructed, which means the same hotels that we had during the Rhodesian era are the same hotels that are still there. And these are tiny. They're not capable of hosting anything. Hotels like Mikos, Crown Plaza, Rainbow, all these hotels that I'm talking about, they are prehistoric hotels with no facilities. If you go to any hotel right now in Zimbabwe, it looks like you're back in the Rhodesian era. That is how the infrastructure is in Zimbabwe. It's all old stuff from the past. Nothing is moving. And it has taken Sadak summit for Zimbabweans to understand how bad the situation is. Zimbabwe is so backward. If you go to Mozambique, I was in Mozambique 2 years ago. That place is developing. They've got a new section of town in Maputo where things are being built. So if there was going to be a Sadak summit in Mozambique, you probably have presidents being able to go to different places. But I don't want to compare Maputo, for example, with South Africa. South Africa has done so well. It has got a lot of infrastructure. Private sector is booming. Similarly, Zambia, things are going very well. Infrastructure is booming. They're building new malls. and the country is doing very, very well. If you are driving, the skyline of Zambia has changed. Within the past few years, Zambia has dramatically grown, and they're developing very, very well. When Sadak came to Zimbabwe this week on Wednesday, they were shocked to see what Mnangagwa is calling developments. It's just empty patches of work, of land which have been graded. There is nothing there. They try to find out where the presidents are supposed to sit. They were taken to a lecture room at the University of Zimbabwe. They tried to find out where the presidents will sleep. They were taken to little rooms at Rainbow. So eventually Sadak just left, and they haven't made a statement yet, but very soon they'll make an announcement. And my belief is that either they're going to have to move it to Victoria Falls, make it virtual, move it to South Africa, or move it to Botswana or Namibia. And I know that Zambia won't want to take it. They don't want to be accused of sabotaging Zimbabwe. But you saw that President Hakainde Hichilema didn't come to Zimbabwe yesterday. President Hakainde Hichilema will never make ZANU-PF use his name for propaganda. Because ZANU-PF is trying to use these events for propaganda. President Hakainde Hichilema, very principled president, he will never allow it. And you are going to see other countries joining. What has happened in Zimbabwe with the Sadak preparations is so embarrassing. And President Nyusi, I know he was in Zimbabwe SADC. He would have told Mnangagwa that what he has done is not enough. I know that various countries are now inspecting facilities because each country is inspecting to see where their own president is going to be. And currently, existence, there's no country that is going to allow their president to sleep at Rainbow. And that is why Sadak is scrambling to find a solution. What do they do? Look at this place where they want the president to sleep. I've been showing you this since Monday. And it's pathetic that people think 18 presidents can sleep in this venue, which is at Rainbow in Harare. Harare is so behind. It's the only city that is not developed. And it's because of Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa has failed. Mnangagwa has destroyed our country. Mnangagwa arura vanhu nenzara. It's pathetic what's happening. This stretch of road, a private developer here in South Africa, at Stan City has developed 10 times or 100 times more roads than this. This has taken 4 years to get to this state. 4 years. And this only got to this state after Chiwenga went here and read the Riot Act to the developers. The developers only worked for a short space of time. And now it resembles a construction site, including the villas. The villas are not finished, but the money is gone. The money is long gone. Mnangagwa, they've taken the money and ran away with it. That's why Sadak is now saying they now have to make a new plan, a plan B on this project, Sadak Summit. And I wish Chiwenga had been given a time to finish this project. Chiwenga would have finished this project. But what Mnangagwa did is when he saw Chiwenga is now making traction, Mnangagwa then pulled Chiwenga out of this project, and then he created what he called some task force or teams of ministers. That is why this project didn't finish, because Mnangagwa interfered, fearing that Chiwenga will get the limelight. I just want you guys to know where it went wrong. Everything went wrong because Mnangagwa interfered in this project. And the people that were given the chance to do these projects have failed. They failed to deliver. The roads are not finished. The deadline has been missed. There's no accommodation for the presidents. And Sadak is now cracking their head. At the last minute, what do they do? Because they are afraid they will disappoint Mnangagwa. But that is what is going to happen very, very soon. So we are expecting an announcement from Sadak within the next 2 weeks. We are going to get an announcement, what is going to happen with the Sadak summit. The facilities in Zimbabwe are not sufficient. Mnangagwa has not been successful in creating any infrastructure. Although he knew he was going to be hosting this summit, Mnangagwa failed to prepare for the summit, and therefore Sadak now has to make a new plan. This is crazy. I cannot believe could someone who is a president can make such a mistake. Then Mkoma Morgan says, will Mnangagwa hand over chairmanship to Mnangagwa? Will Hakainde hand over chairman to Mnangagwa? No. President Hakainde Hichilema is not the chairperson of Sadak. The chairperson of Sadak is the Angolan president. So don't get it confused. There's the Sadak Troika and there is Sadak organ. Those are different from the Sadak itself. So I showed you guys, let me show you the picture when I was standing in front of these guys. So if you look at the top here, on the right is incoming chairman Mnangagwa, right? And on his left is the current chairperson, who is the president of Angola. And then on the right is the president of Namibia, the lady in red. She's the incoming chairman of the organ. And on the left is President Hakainde Hichilema, who is the current president of current chairman of the organ. So Mnangagwa and Hakainde, they've got no way where they're going to meet right now. There's nothing being handed over from the other to other. All I can explain to you is right now Sadak has come to Zimbabwe, they've inspected, and they found that the facilities are not adequate. So Mnangagwa has failed dismally in front of the whole world, in front of Sadak, and Sadak will be forced to make an announcement on whether to hold the Sadak summit virtually, whether to move it to South Africa or Namibia or Botswana, or to move it to Victoria Falls. And it's too early. It's too late for Mnangagwa to finish this actual construction. So let's see what happens within the next few days, because Sadak has to now go and sit down and plan. But what makes me very sad is that Sadak has failed to make a statement on 78 members of the opposition that are currently in jail without trial. So they've been jailed for the past 35 days without trial, and not Timba. Mnangagwa has jailed opposition members and is now going for a extension of his term into a third term. And Sadak has the difficult decision to make such a chairperson of Sadak. Many presidents have spoken against the third term, including the first lady of Namibia. She has spoken against it. And this week alone, the president of Botswana has spoken against Mnangagwa's plans to go for a third term. I want to remind you what he said about the third term.
I also want to add my voice to commending President Nyusi in a very particular way, because he's coming towards the end of his legitimate legal term of office as president of Mozambique. That is very reassuring, because for those who may have doubted about the stability and the respect for the rule of law in the region, here's yet another example coming up.
Right, so I just want you to remember what I said. Mnangagwa has become an embarrassment to the region. He wants to use Sadak as a way of gaining acceptance. If Sadak makes the mistake of making Mnangagwa chairperson and he goes for the third term, he's going to destroy the region. Mnangagwa's beliefs and his policies are very dangerous. And Sadak must bring this to an end right now before it goes any further. They need to rein in Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa has gone rogue in the whole region. And to make matters worse, he has failed to finish the project. So Sadak, especially the guys at the leadership level, they need to solve this crisis. There is a crisis in Sadak because of Mnangagwa's behavior. And I hope that within the next 2 weeks, the presidents of the other countries will bring this thing to an end. So let me recap. Mnangagwa has failed to finish the projects. He wants to be chairperson, but he cannot host. No way for the presidents to sleep. All the projects that started are not finished to do with Sadak. That includes the hotels, the roads, and the actual venue where the presidents are supposed to sit. That's not finished. Then to make matters worse, Mnangagwa is arrested and is holding 78 members of the opposition in jail without trial for the past 35 days. If Sadak allows what is happening in Zimbabwe to continue, There is no country right now in Sadak that is holding any political prisoners. Mnangagwa is holding political prisoners. Timba and 78 are currently in jail without trial. That is on top of another 800 people that are in jail without trial in Zimbabwe as we speak. So that makes up almost 1,000 people that have been arrested without trial, including ordinary Zimbabweans who are trying to change money to go into the bus to go home, because the banking system of Zimbabwe does not have a way of changing money from US dollars, the local currency. They went on a blitz and arrested almost 250 people who are currently in jail without trial. Then they arrested people who are called touts, those people who carry people, and they threw them into jail. So we've got almost 1,000 people right now who are in jail, including 80 political prisoners and Timba who are in jail without trial. If Sadak allows Mnangagwa to become chairperson, this is going to be a disaster. And I want to ask young Zimbabweans not to be distracted. This is the most important story right now. The fact that we've got all these people in jail without trial and they've not been given bail. That is shocking. It's a disaster. And anyway, let me bring this to an end. I'll be back here in the morning, so that will give you more updates in terms of the news. But this is the current situation. Sadak has come to inspect the facilities in Zimbabwe. They are not satisfied, and Zimbabwe will not be able to host the Sadak summit. If Sadak persists, a disaster is going to happen, which is going to show them why Mnangagwa has failed. The Mnangagwa chairmanship of Sadak is going to destroy the organization. Sadak is going to be totally destroyed if they allow Mnangagwa to become the chairperson. And I know that most presidents know what I'm talking about. It's a serious disaster. Right now, the crisis in Sadak, what to do with Mnangagwa. Then Mkoma Consent Zimbabwe says, although I agree with Zimbabwean stagnation, I also like transparency. Right? Rainbow Towers has been built in the last post-8. I know that's not saying much. Right. Have you guys gone to Angola? Who has ever gone to Angola? Angola resembles a first world country in terms of infrastructure. In Mozambique, the roads in Mozambique are a pride. If you are driving in Mozambique, they have built bridges where they are going to put future roads, especially on the way to Maputo. Their hotels are splendid. Their banks work. Their machines, ATM machines work. In Zimbabwe, the ATM machines don't work. The same building that were there in the past and the same buildings you've got. If you go to Harare City Center, it's like at a growth point, like an old, I don't know what you can describe it as. It looks so bad. It's not a city anymore, Harare. The city center has got hundreds and hundreds of people on the streets selling at night. Right now, I'm not talking about during the day. Go to Harare now. Right now, 20 to 10. Go there now as I speak. People are sleeping on the streets selling because they cannot afford to go back home. Guys, this is a disaster. Mnangagwa has destroyed this country to a point that we cannot even describe. In the jails and in the holding cells and in remand prisons, there are hundreds and hundreds of people without trial who are sitting there. And I'm not exaggerating. 80 people on remand for no reason. That is one of the most dangerous things that we've ever seen. And this man cannot be the Sadak chairperson. I do not know what to do and to say to make you understand how dangerous this situation is. That you can just take someone from their home and arrest them for attending a meeting and put them in jail and not try them and not give them bail and just make them sit for 35 days. This is dangerous, what Mnangagwa is doing. And Sadak should not become part of it. They should refuse to become part of this. And I know the presidents, Anama Hosi and all these presidents here, Masisi, President Hakainde, Ramaphosa, they are aware of this situation. This is not a joke. This man is in his last term. He wants to extend his term to the third term. And yet, Sadak is not seeing the danger of what is happening right here. They should not endorse this behavior. And as Zimbabweans, do not take this lightly, that other people are in jail for so long without trial. And when I say without trial, I mean they've not been given a chance before a judge to apply for bail. The judges don't show up. When the judges show up, they pretend that they do not see the paperwork or they do not see the application. Agent Zigumbo has been trying his best to get these guys out, but it has not been working. I do not know why Zimbabweans accept such a situation, that other people are locked up without any trial, and it goes on and on and on, and everyone just keeps quiet. This is terrible. And then let's look at how are we, the electorate, going to stop Sadak from making Mnangagwa chairman? I'm going to give you guys direction very, very soon. I'm going to be in Zimbabwe on the 17th of August myself. If the Sadak summit is going to proceed, I'm going to be there on the 17th. So let's await the announcement by Sadak, because as I said, they could move the summit. So wherever the summit is going to be, you're going to see me there. If it's going to be in South Africa, I'll be there. If it's going to be Namibia, I'll be there. If it's going to be Victoria Falls, I'll be over there too. We need to make sure that people understand the danger of what Mnangagwa is doing. Mnangagwa is planning to go for a third term. He's refusing dialogue. He's locked up almost 1,000 people without trial. And Sadak needs to be made aware. So once the Sadak makes an announcement, I'm going to make another trip specifically to do with the 78 people that are in jail. I've already brought this to the attention of the Sadak Secretariat, that there are 78 opposition members who are arrested and in jail without trial. I've brought this to their attention. But now we're going to make another trip. And this time it will be to each president in Sadak. I am going to personally visit each president in the Sadak countries to bring to their attention the fact that we've got 78 people of the opposition that have been locked up without trial and who are currently stuck right now in remand prison for the past 35 days, just sitting there. So I promise you guys that within the next few weeks, we're going to start those trips to all the countries in SADC. It's only a day's trip to each of those summits, of those countries. So we'll travel to all those countries and bring it to the attention of all the presidents that Mnangagwa is holding opposition members without trial for the past 35 days. Guys, let's not play with this. Let's make this as much noise as possible. You cannot allow other people to be locked up for nothing without trial in this day and age. Mnangagwa is very dangerous, and his behavior is not supposed to be allowed. Do not allow Mnangagwa to continue with this behavior of locking up people and for no reason. 40 years after independence, our country has got no hotel room where a president can sleep. That is how dangerous Mnangagwa is. Then Mazimba ane mugezero vakatadza kupedza mavhila ED. Hey, don't laugh. Mkoma, I'm very angry at Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa aruraya vanhu nenzara. Mnangagwa is destroyed our country. That is Mkoma Mambo. And then let's see other comments here. My president Sadak akafanana ese hapana anoda kusiya chigaro. Zvakungoda kuita sevanhu veku Kenya. Guys, if a protest takes place right now, what is going to happen is very dangerous. I cannot even explain to you what is going to happen if a protest takes place right now. What we need is to start a process of dialogue with the mediation of Sadak. Sadak must make a statement about the situation in Zimbabwe, and they must withdraw the chairmanship of Mnangagwa as soon as possible. Mnangagwa is a person under investigation. He's not the chairperson of Sadak. Mnangagwa has rigged the elections, and at the same time, he's holding people without trial. And I'm talking about opposition members. So as I said, let's deal with that. It's good that Mnangagwa has failed to finish the project, because that gives us a chance to make sure that Sadak has the ear, or they give us the ear. Every single person. Focus on what I'm saying right now. Let other people get out of jail. The people that have been jailed. Let's not focus on useless things. For now, let's get our people out. I'm going to be going once again to different countries until these guys come out. I know next week there's some activity. Let's see if Mnangagwa is going to continue holding these people hostage right now, that the way he's doing. But Sadak has been made aware. Now we're going to make the individual presidents aware. Mnangagwa is holding people hostage. Do not go to Zimbabwe. He's holding members of the opposition without trial for the past 35 days, and it increases every day. So now we're going to 40 days without trial. Mnangagwa himself, if he gets out of office, if we lock him up for 40 days, is he going to survive the 40 days? Because remember, he's coming out. When he comes out, should we lock Mnangagwa up for 40 days without trial? That is the question that I'm asking. Should we take Mnangagwa's children and lock them up for 40 days? Is that what it's going to take for him to understand what is happening here? So hypothetically, let's say someone else comes into office. Should we allow people to just take each other and lock them in because they're not in office? We take them and lock them up in office for 40 days without trial. So let's see, did you watch news at 8 a.m. today? And on the 17th, know that you will join Timba in prison if you go to Zim. I'm not going to go into prison. I can tell you, I'm not going to prison. I'm not doing anything illegal. And I'm not going to be stopped from going to my own country. I'm going to go there. So now if you guys see me in prison and you just keep quiet, and everyone is quiet on Timba, let's see if you're going to get quiet when I'm locked up, because I'm going to go over there, right? So let's see if you guys are going to be quiet and see whether that makes sense to you. Could Mnangagwa just arrest people and keep them in jail without trial? So that's crazy. I don't even want to talk about Sadak accepting anything Mnangagwa was doing right now. Let's all show that we cannot accept what Mnangagwa was doing with the arrests. Guys, let's all be men here. Especially the men. I want you guys, the men, to sit back and think what this man is doing with his family, with his close relatives, with his cabal, with Ana Wicknell, with Ana Scott Sakupanya. How many months have I been talking here about the death of Pastor Tafmani Messiah? Murdered while handing out flyers. Saka achatipedzaka Mnangagwa. Everyone, unopera na Mnangagwa. Because right now, Pastor Tafmani Messiah is dead, killed. No investigation. The police are refusing to investigate. That means he can go one by one and kill everyone, including you guys in government, to get killed. Mnangagwa. Right now, he's got people in jail, which means he can jail someone. When he gets to the third term, he's going to arrest everyone and put them in jail without trial. So this is what I'm saying here. This is not the time to play my jokes. You could do, I say all that. Those are jokes and distractions. Guys, so those are Zimbabweans, you just like being distracted. All I can say to you is these are the issues. We've got 80 people in jail without trial. We've got a further 820 people in jail without trial or in remand prison. The villas are not finished, corruption everywhere, rigging of the elections, and a building of a dynasty in front of our eyes. Our country has been in a stagnation for the past 44 years, to the point where you don't even have a hotel room which can sleep a president. So, Mkoma Timba, we have to go to each country and talk to each president, and I'll be doing it myself. I'm not sending anyone. I'll be doing that myself, starting with the president of South Africa here. We're going to visit the president of South Africa. Then we'll go back to Zambia. I'm going to go back to Zambia first. Then I'll go to Botswana. I'll retrace all the steps that we've taken. Go to all the presidents of all the countries. And that Timba must be released. That is the first thing that must happen. And then Sadak must not make Mnangagwa the chairperson. In fact, Mnangagwa deserves to go under an international court. Mnangagwa needs to be taken to an international court. What he's doing is a violation of human rights. I know the United States have put him under sanctions, but it's no longer enough. This man is going for a third term. And on the way to the third term, the things that he's going to do are very dangerous, and we need to stop it. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I'll be back here in the morning with the news update. There's a lot that is happening, and we need to focus. Let's not be distracted. The Thomas kids, Twana Mnangagwa. Are we men or are we what? Like, honestly, Zimbabwe, do we have men in our country to allow us to guys, we need to show that there are men in our country. So do not laugh at the jokes. Let's make a move right now. This is a critical month. Between now and the end of August, it's critical. We must put an end to this behavior, and we cannot allow this to continue. The time for playing is over now. We need to do something very serious, and it needs to happen now within the next 30 days. We need to take concrete and final action on Mnangagwa. So I would like to thank you all for watching and for all your support, and I'll see you again in the morning. Mkoma, Andrea, thank you very much. Let's make the whole world aware of these atrocities, but we should not end there. This is now a time for action. Action is a duty, and it's a spiritual duty. So do this for your children. Do not allow your children to have to deal with what Mnangagwa is destroying. Our fathers and mothers were afraid to take action. Do not be afraid. Start participating in addressing the situation in Zimbabwe right now. So thank you very much to everyone on YouTube, everyone on Facebook, and everyone on Twitter. And I'll see you in the morning.